I was watching and I heard the story of an incredible, unbelievable young woman who was battling rare bone cancer. They made a mistake. A doctor or a hospital made a mistake. She called it it was a medical error. Her name is Natalie Harp, and she lit up the television screen like very few people I've ever seen do it. And she talked about how they were preparing her for death. And because of Right to Try, she's now living and I think doing phenomenally well. And somebody said she's here. Are you here, Natalie? Where's Natalie? Will you come up here, please? Come up, Natalie.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, we all know the story about the Good Samaritan, but what you don't know is I was that forgotten person on the side of the road, the victim of medical error, the number 3 cause of death under the previous administration, and left to die of cancer. First, the medical establishment, they came by and they saw me there, so they wrote prescriptions for opioids, and they walked on. Next, the political establishment, they saw me there. And they stopped just long enough to come over and tell me how to die, how to speed up my death so I could somehow die with dignity. But then an outsider, my Good Samaritan, President Donald J. Trump, he saw me there and he didn't walk by, he stopped. And for every single one of us, he gave up his own quality of life so we could live and work and fight with dignity, because he believes in survival of the fighters, not the fittest. And so, Mr. President, I have to say you have made a lot of promises to us, and you have kept every one of them. So now we're going to make you this promise. Just as you fought for us, forgotten America will never forget how you saw us on the side of the road, and you walked over, and you picked us up, and you made us great again. And now we're going to fight for you, Mr. President. God bless you.
I can't for the life of me remember a candidate that brings that sort of charisma to a stage. I can't think of one. Donald Trump is quite literally 1 in a million in this regard, because you could hear that crowd. Just listen to them right at the end. 4 more years. Listen, I know this video is a little bit older, but we've got to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. We have to understand not just what was going on there, but what's going on in general. America is hurt. We're in trouble. We're being buried under taxes. We're spending like crazy. We can't reform Social Security. We can't reform Medicare. Those are the number 1, number 2 problems that we're facing in this country right now. And that's why our debt is so bad. And because we've had to borrow so much, we now have to pay more on our interest payments than we do in our military. And then we're sending money overseas like crazy to fund things that's, going to be honest, at this point, they're no longer worth funding. It's just not worth it anymore. We have so much of a hole that we have dug ourselves in, there's no way we can help someone else get out. And that's why Donald Trump has such an appeal still today, because there are Americans who realize that we've got a problem and we can't spend our way out of it. And Donald Trump, I think, is the only one that embodies the idea of actually getting things done, because in his 4 years, what did he do? He revamped the economy. He lowered taxes, which actually increases revenue. And he actually started making foreign policy ideas that made sense. So no wonder this crowd is still going crazy. No wonder so many people still support him.